to answer your question too about like learning something new, don't fight the VWAP for me. That's where I struggle, dude. When we extend away from VWAP,
well. Yeah.
Oh, dude, and it kills me. You know what I mean? Because it's like I want to be right more than I want to make money, and that's the essence of poor trading. I want to make money. I don't care if I'm right, but in some moments, I want my ego's like, no, bro, you know this is the freaking top. Just sell it.
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro? We're ripping higher. We're trading a US index. What are we selling it for? Not to pinball us around, but I did want to make one more comment, Mike. Like the thing we talked about earlier when we talk about trading mistakes, I feel like the thing that separates great traders from new traders is just great traders figured out how to make the mistakes less often. And when they do tilt or overtrade or whatever, they cost themselves less money. It's less often and less money. It doesn't ever get perfect, everybody. It doesn't. Yeah. So when you embrace that, it actually mentally gets easier too. You don't beat yourself up about it. You're like, it happens to everybody. Let me get back on the horse and try again. It's the people that quit that truly fail. You know, I wanted to mention that from earlier too.
And that's obviously been a big driver for me in over a decade of trading now, is knowing that I'm still going to grind it out and get back on the charts the next day.
Every day. That's and people think they're like, oh, you made it. No, bro. Like I still wake up and trade. I still grind it out every day. I got guys like Anthony Crudelli, Pax, these older guys that used to trade. They still wake up and grind it out every day. They're not flashing something on Instagram. That's how you know those people are full of shit. Real traders know the grind is real, and you're only as good as your last month's P&L.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
I totally agree with that. And, you know, what's interesting is that's part of what attracted me to this industry in the first place. I was an entrepreneur well before this, worked in the marketing and advertising space, and, you know, sold a couple of companies, had a little money to play with in the early 2010s. And what was interesting to me was realizing that while the digital marketing space was constantly evolving, rules were changing, it was harder to do the stuff that I was good at. The markets aren't going anywhere. They're not changing. They're still going to be available the next day. And I liked the permanence of that idea, that I could always show up even in 100 years from now, if I was able to live that long. There's still going to be a market to trade somewhere.
Still going to be a market. And then there'll be new opportunities to go in and learn about. And then it's new problem solving. Like I think for a lot of us, the thing that like, at least it keeps me interested in it, because I don't know if I would trade every day if it wasn't this way, but every day is a new problem to solve, a new puzzle. Ask my wife. Out of everything I've done in my life, I always get bored of shit all the time, except her. She'll tell you I've stuck with her for a long time. But everything else, I get bored of it, but not trading. Like I've come back to trading more than I've come back to anything else in my life, other than like working out. You know what I mean? But even same thing, working out, there's a million different workouts I can do. I can go run, I can play tennis, I can work out with weights, I can do yoga. It's changing it up. I'm not one of those people that's like, I eat chicken and rice every day for lunch. Too much routine and exactly. And trading gives me that every day. You know what I mean? Solving that new little thing. Yeah.
Is there something more recent that you've moved into that's like the most recent thing that you've learned in trading?
I think what I would say another way I can answer that is like what I've been trying to work on in my own trading too, is like my ability to let winning streaks not end in big blowups. I get overconfident trading New York session. This was earlier in September, overconfident trading New York session. So then 2 weeks into a win streak, almost to a payout, I decide to trade Asian session for no reason. Leave a trade on overnight, big loss. Wake up the next morning, I'm pissed, trade pre-market. Both of those two things, pre-market and Asian session, I didn't do it all in the green streak. So I let the overconfidence break the routine in that sense, break from what was working, and it cost me, set me back. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to work on right now. It's not like the self-awareness has grown in me. I'm sure you can relate to that. Like as you've been trading for so many years, you can control yourself pretty good. But it's then in that moment of overconfidence, because I've never traded this well. Like last year was my best year. Now this year is going to be better. So it's like I'm trading better. So I'm encountering a different issue of overconfidence where like I do feel like I'm reading the VWAP well. And I do. So then when it doesn't come to fruition, when I decide to do something different and I feel like I should be right and I'm not, it doesn't need to be. That was the point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to work on that. But I would think to answer your question too about like learning something new, don't fight the VWAP for me. That's where I struggle, dude. When we extend away from VWAP, oh, dude, and it kills me. You know what I mean? Because it's like I want to be right more than I want to make money. And that's the essence of poor trading. I want to make money. I don't care if I'm right. But in some moments, I want my ego's like, no, bro, you know this is the freaking top. Just sell it.
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro? We're ripping higher. We're trading a US index. What are we selling it for?
We've been seeing that a lot lately too, where there's these ridiculous congestion zones around VWAP that take 25, 30, sometimes 45 minutes to finally break away and then fall down. And if you're sitting there trading around that the whole time, you're going to get wiped out before you even get the chance to see the other side of that trade. I don't know how
Are
you've
you
been
familiar
dealing
with
with
Scott
that.
Pulcini?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Scott's been on my podcast a couple of times. He talks about like in those ranges, that's like a lot of algo trading, chopping people to bits before they do make the expansion move and stuff like that. And he was saying like in this year, he's had a hard time. He uses a lot of algos to help him spot his trades, but he still trades manually and he trades a bunch of markets. But he was like, if you're break even this year, he's like, you're doing well. He's like, these markets, these consolidation and then expansion markets are somewhat difficult for certain traders, just depending on how you trade. So I think you're right in that like these prolonged consolidations before moves off VWAP will shake out new traders. Why am I trading it? But when you start to trade, and this is good, if you're a VWAP guy, this will be good advice for you. Price pays. Brian Shannon said that on my podcast. That's
I love it.
I think he's trade. Price pays. At the end of the day, you look at your broker statement. It doesn't say you were long VWAP. It says you were long at 56.90 and you got out at 56.60 or whatever it is, right? So price pays. So what I'm looking at is not just the colored lines and the colored candles. I look at the axis on the side of the screen. What price do I want to be long? Let's long 56.70. Let's put a stop at 56.60, 10 points. We got 10 points to the upside. Well, I'm playing that price. I'm not playing that the market's going to pop right now. How am I supposed to know that? When I started to shift into that of like play price, don't play timing the market, that helped a lot too.
Interesting.